Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Power pipes and problems. The winter weather last week brought a slew of problems to homes and businesses, but one group of homeowners noticed a disturbing trend.
Residents in several Hill Country neighborhoods say they are all experiencing the same problem from the same home developer, and now they're stuck dealing with thousands of dollars worth of damage.
The Night Team's Jaffney Gray tells us what the homeowners are dealing with tonight.
For some living in developments by Highland Homes, it started with the pop.
I literally walked in, and first thing I'm like, what's that noise? Why are my feet wet?
For others, it was multiple pops, followed by...
And as I got closer, it sounded as if the shower was on, which is what took me into the bathroom. And immediately on entering the bathroom, there was at least an inch of water just all over the floor.
Tracy Uribe, who lives in River Rock Ranch off Bernie Stage Road, is now dealing with the financial burden.
This is the pipe burst that caused all of this damage in here.
Uribe says that they're dealing with about $15,000 worth of damage, but she believes that this isn't nothing in comparison to some of her neighbors, like the Ruggles with over $20,000 worth of damage, or like the Shannons who are dealing with over $30,000 worth of damage. All saying that it all started from a busted pipe above the master bedroom.
A common inconvenience shared among many homeowners in this neighborhood alone. Contractor Michael Patrick says he was hired by over 30 residents with this exact same issue.
Some of these areas they don't have attics. These are closed off copper areas in these master bedrooms. So when you put the insulation in, they put it in the joist system. And because of that, that copper pipe went across the top of it, and it's not covered with insulation.
Which means...
In some cases was insulated. In most cases, I'd say 75% of them, it had no insulation on the pipe at all.
That's just his experience with the River Rock Ranch neighborhood. We've received similar complaints from several residents in Johnson Ranch, Belterra, and Valencia Hills, all Highland homes.
As a homeowner, you'll do a leap of faith, believing that everything was done properly, and see this is what happens right now.
The pipes are close to the edge of the house. They're not insulated.
Master plumber Brad Harrell says it all boils down to the International Plumbing Code, which states no matter the placement of the pipes, if they're susceptible to freezing, they require full
Now, of course, we spoke with Highland Homes, and they said that they're looking into these issues. They released the following statement saying, in part, Highland Homes has received 10 service calls from neighborhoods cited in the story, and our construction experts have spoken with 10 families to evaluate the calls and offer guidance on the storm-related damage, end quote. Now, if you have experienced similar problems in Highland Home, encourages you to call them. Steve, ECs?
To follow it. Thank you so much, Jaffney. San Antonio's Emergency Resource Call Center is now open in response to last week's winter weather. The city says renters, homeowners, and small business owners can call for help navigating what assistance might be available related to the storm. To reach the call center, call 311, choose option 5. The city also has information on resources at the website there on your screen, strongertogether.sanantonio.gov. Well, the number of visits to the ER related to slips and falls last week more than doubled during the winter weather.
If you're still hurting a week after your fall, one doctor says it's a good idea to see a specialist or that injury could get worse. Here's the Night Team's Patty Santos.
It felt like Christmas, so went outside, tried doing the snowman.
Alejandro Estrada took his family out into the snow looking for excitement last week, and he got something else.
I think I might have stepped on a rock or something because I slipped, fell back, and broke my elbow and dislocated my elbow.
His orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Sean Sharistani, says it's been a busy week with patients like Estrada who fell on ice and snow and now need follow-up care. Many KSAT viewers shared their own falls caught on camera, which hopefully didn't leave lasting effects.
Things can progressively get worse if we ignore them. Injuries can worsen, pain can worsen. So I always advise to try to get worked up and seen by a specialist as quickly as possible.
ER hospitals and urgent care clinics report a big increase in falls last week.
A handful of patients with concussions or more serious head injuries like bleeding inside of the brain.
ER fall-related visits at University Hospital went from an average of 7 a day to 17 a day, with more than 140 falls in a week. Baptist Health System area hospitals treated more than 420 patients for falls related to weather between Monday and Friday. And as things thawed out over the weekend, more patients who couldn't leave home trickled into hospitals.
If you're still having severe problems using your arm or your leg, or you can't walk or put any weight on, there's probably a good chance that you have a fracture.
If over-the-counter medicine isn't working, doctors recommend you see a specialist.
The body is very good at telling us when something is wrong.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Well, the elderly and those with osteoporosis are at higher risk for bone and hip fractures and should use extreme care.
Is saying he joins Texans in their anger over what happened to the state's power grid last week. Governor Greg Abbott says the Texas legislature will not end until those issues are fixed.
I am already working with the legislature on reforms to add more power to the grid and to ensure that we never run out of power again.
The governor says the state legislature will begin investigations into ERCOT tomorrow. The Attorney General's office has already had its own investigation underway. Abbott says he also made it a legislative priority to mandate and to fund the winterization and stabilization of the Texas power infrastructure.
To the latest now on coronavirus numbers here in San Antonio. Bexar County is reporting 371 new cases tonight and 9 new deaths.
That brings our total number of cases to 194,332. Our total number of COVID-19 related fatalities is now at 2,510. There continues to be a decline in the number of people with COVID in our local hospitals. 499 COVID-19 patients are hospitalized tonight. 190 are in the intensive care. 115 are on ventilators.
We also have the latest COVID-19 numbers in San Antonio posted for you on our website, KSAT.com. Well, the city of San Antonio, along with county distribution sites, are releasing a text alert system to keep the community updated on coronavirus vaccine availability. You can now sign up to receive text alerts notifying when more appointments are available. Just text vaccine to 55000. Now, of course, this does not sign you up to receive the vaccine. This is just another tool to let you know when more vaccine doses have arrived.
And speaking of vaccines, the United States could be just days away from its first single-dose coronavirus vaccine after Johnson & Johnson, its version, cleared a major hurdle. The Food and Drug Administration saying Wednesday that the J&J vaccine is safe, effective, and meets the requirements for emergency use authorization, which could come as early as Friday. Experts say they expect the potential third vaccine to expand access and get more people vaccinated faster because it is just a single dose.
My suspicion is that it's going to start with those people who are lower risk for severe disease to begin with. So people without comorbidities, people who are younger, the general population.
Johnson & Johnson says they are ready for the rollout. They can have 20 million doses made available by the end of March.
Moderna has come up with a vaccine that may protect against the South African variant of COVID-19. The drug maker says it has designed an updated version of its coronavirus vaccine, and it's been shipped to the U.S. National Institutes of Health for a clinical study. The new vaccine will be evaluated both as a booster shot for people who have been inoculated and as a primary vaccine for people who have not. Studies have suggested the South African variant is more resistant to vaccines than the original COVID-19 strain. Moderna also says it has shipped about 55 million doses of its original coronavirus shot to the U.S.
Other top stories tonight. He was relieved from his post after the disappearance of Vanessa Guillen at Fort Hood. Now Major General Scott L. Eflin will be reassigned to Military City, USA. An Army spokeswoman says Eflin is being temporarily reassigned as the special assistant to the commanding general of U.S. Army North Joint Base San Antonio. Eflin was part of 14 firings and suspensions in December at Fort Hood after Army leaders ordered policy changes there.
Take a look at the pictures here on your screen. This bracelet may help police identify skeletal remains found behind the Rio Admission Trails nursing home back in November. Police believe the victim is a woman between the ages of 20 and 40. She was believed to have been anywhere from 5'3" to 5'7" with brown, wavy hair. Anyone with information is asked to call police at the number on your screen, 210-207-7635.
It's looking like the police union will not be making an endorsement in this year's mayoral race. In an interview with KSAT, the new president of the police union says they will instead focus on a new contract and a Fix SAPD initiative. The City and San Antonio Police Officers Association set for meetings on Friday. Negotiations over a new contract remain at the center of that meeting. The group Fix SAPD has put a measure on the ballot to get rid of the collective bargaining process. But new union president John Danny Diaz says getting rid of that process would impact the city and its officers.
The chief would lose a lot of his appointments with deputy chiefs and assistant chiefs. From our standpoint, what they're doing is a form of defunding, because now they'd be taking away the agreement, and that affects our pay and our insurance.
We talked to Diaz during our KSAT Q&A segment at 6. Fix SAPD has pushed for reforms within the police department, and the city has said among its priorities for negotiations should include, quote, accountability and discipline, end quote. Voters will decide if collective bargaining will continue in the May election. It's still ahead on the Nightbeat. A new look at the impact from last week's storm. The harsh temperatures taking out some wildlife here in San Antonio. It's next on the Nightbeat.
The recent winter storm impacted millions of people, but it also took out wildlife across the state. Here in San Antonio, Texas Park and Wildlife captured images of bats who fell victim to the winter blast. Some were put into trash bags. The Night Team's Jonathan Cotto took to the city's underpasses to learn what ecosystems have been impacted by last week's historic temperatures.
Last week's winter storm came full force right off the bat.
This is a fine example of global warming.
Cameras speaking on the aftermath the ice had not only on residents, these mammals also took a wintry beating. These are pictures from Loop 410 and San Pedro showing hundreds of dead Mexican free-tailed bats.
I personally picked up probably 7,500 bats. About 1,500 of those were deceased. The rest were living. Some have passed away since I've gotten them because they were in such bad shape.
Camera says the prolonged sub-freezing temperatures along with limited availability to food played a deadly toll on native wildlife.
A lot of those had impact injuries, head injuries, back injuries, internal injuries. And so and them being weak and starving, they didn't make it.
Bats, along with other certain species, required for human survival.
Without bats and bees, we'd be dead. Those are the two animals that humans wholly survive with. We need to have them.
But it's more than just dead bats. As a result, Camera says a number of consequences can be expected.
Our crops are going to be affected by the loss of these individuals.
The start of a vicious cycle.
We start to get more insects because we have less bats, so we start putting more poison out, which kills more bats. And kills what food they were eating.
She says if you encounter an injured bat, do not pick it up and call Southern Wildlife Rehab for assistance.
There's really not much we can do for them. They do so much for us. The only thing we can do is just respect them and provide the habitats for them.
Texas Park and Wildlife Department says that you should report any dead fish or wildlife. This will allow them to study how the storm impacted them. You can find their information on our website, KSAT.com.
Yeah, we talked last night about the fish kill happening in certain parts of the area. As we take a live look outside with Sky 12, the Frost Tower downtown in red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. And look, it's changing in front of us. Got a little pattern to it. I like that.
I like the addition to the skyline that the Frost Tower brings.
Exactly, especially the changing lights, changing with the seasons and what's going on. Look at our day today. We started out at 63 and then topped out right near 80 degrees with a high of 78 in San Antonio. Elsewhere, we made it well into the 80s. Beeville, Cotulla, Del Rio, all topped out at 88 degrees. Even Kerrville made it up to 84. for a high temperature. As we go forward here in time, it's not going to be as warm the next couple of days. Notice Thursday and Friday, high temperatures back down in the upper 50s, maybe 60 if we're lucky. And then this weekend, we rebound right up to near 70 degrees. So let's talk temperatures. We actually have a weak cold front slowly moving through South Texas right now. You can see some cooler air off to the north. This isn't anything drastic, nothing significant, but the Panhandle has 30s and 40s, even Abilene at 49. Meanwhile, you head down into Brownsville at 69 and Laredo still at 75. And this cold front, it's really not impacting our temperatures a whole lot across South Texas. Fredericksburg Junction 57, Ozona's 54, and then you get to 74 Cotulla and 68 in Pleasanton, and currently in San Antonio at 66. There's a big difference in terms of the moisture content or the humidity of the air along and behind this front. Of course, behind the front, you have the drier, less humid air in the hill country right now with dew points in the lower 40s. Feels refreshing. Elsewhere, even here in San Antonio, you notice that hint of mugginess in the air today. Dew points were in the lower 60s, so we felt that humidity. Not oppressive, but definitely noticeable. Well, that slow front, it's going to crawl its way southward, and first thing tomorrow morning, it looks like we'll have a break in the humidity along and north of Highway 90. Folks, south and southeast of town, especially along the coastal bend, you won't have that reprieve because this front's going to slow down and basically stall out right over South Texas. But here in San Antonio, you'll notice a lack of mugginess tomorrow compared to what we had today. So we have the cold front. We also have this upper disturbance causing some snow showers in Denver. It's going to bring some of that moisture with it, drop southward, a little bit of energy, and that's going to help stir things up as well across the state tomorrow. So let's look at our futurecast because rain chances do increase later in the day tomorrow. We'll have low clouds pretty much all day. The overrunning moisture up and over the cooler air that's moving in will give us some low gray clouds, gray the dominant color in the sky for several days here. And then we get into the afternoon hours, a few spritzes and sprinkles, and we'll give it about a 20% chance. Then we get into the evening after sunset, and especially Thursday night into Friday morning, we have better chances of more scattered showers and mainly light in nature, but nonetheless, we could see up to about 0.2 of an inch of rain in a few lucky locations by Friday morning. Okay, so we're not looking at a big gully washer here or a big drought buster, but little drought denter tomorrow, then a few isolated showers here and there Friday through the weekend. Monday stands out as our most promising day for the most widespread and most numerous showers across South Texas. So gray day tomorrow, cooler as well. Look at that, 58 the high, northeasterly breeze at 10 to 15. Friday, very similar, but I think we'll squeeze in some afternoon sunshine. And the rain chances on Friday are mainly in the morning. Over the weekend, not much in terms of rain, just a few hit or miss light showers with the low clouds near 70. Cool off again on Monday, back down near 60, and that's our most promising chance for more numerous showers.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, they haven't played in a while. They're kind of shorthanded. How did the Spurs do tonight?
Well, they did great right up into the last few seconds, but I got to tell you, playing with a completely different starting lineup and off for the last 9 days, I thought they gave it a great shot. When we come back, the Spurs back in action in Oklahoma City, but it does not translate into a road victory. And we got the latest update on Tiger Woods. Just called up in the G League, Luka Samanic is getting the start for the shorthanded Spurs tonight due to the COVID-19 protocols on the final game of the rodeo road trip in OKC. Luka going to work early, getting into the lane for the layup and 2-point edge. Final minutes of the first quarter. Spurs down 8 until Patty Mills drains a 21-footer. Then LaMarcus Aldridge comes off the bench for the first time since 2007 after missing 6 games to knock down the 3, and the Spurs are down 6 going to the second. But that is where they catch fire. Aldridge, another 3. Spurs are on an 8-0 run, but they aren't done yet. DeJounte Murray led the Spurs at 27 with a quick hands, comes up with a steal, takes it back, part of a 16-2 run. Spurs up 7. Spurs lead 45-40 at the break. Spurs an open 11-point lead after going on an 8-2 run to start the third. Murray's jumper right here puts the Spurs up 53-42, but the Thunder start to roll. They cut the lead to 1 when Aldridge goes baseline for the two-handed punch. 4 seconds left now. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander goes a length of the court, gets a finger roll to fall at the buzzer. Thunder by 3 going into 4th. Under a minute and a half to go. Now Spurs down 4. Mills driving baseline, gets under the hoop. He spins back to get the free for the bucket. Spurs down 2. 30 seconds left. Lonnie Walker attacking the rim. He ties the game at 99. Thunder had the last shot. 3.9 seconds to play. Thunder inbound to Al Horford. He dishes it over to White. Lucas Dort for the 3 at the buzzer. And Spurs drop a heartbreaker, 102-99.
We fought hard. We lost the game by 2 points, 3 points at a buzzer. So ain't no excuses. Everybody get paid to do a job, and that's to be a professional and be ready to go.
All right, next matchup for the Spurs will be back home finally. Take on the New Orleans Pelicans Saturday at 7. The NBA released a second season schedule, and it's going to be a rough one for our San Antonio Spurs since they are going to have to play their 5 postponed games, including 4 on this rodeo road trip due to the positive coronavirus test. As a result, the Spurs will play 40 games in 68 nights, 7 sets of back-to-backs. That includes 2 5-game road trips, 23 road games, where the Spurs have done much better this year. Here's a look at their rescheduled games for the Spurs, and this includes all that have been postponed so far. The March the 15th at Detroit, the 19th at Cleveland, 19th of April at Indiana, then also in April against New Orleans, that replayed game, and then May the 13th at New York. Tiger Woods is awake, responsive, and recovering in his hospital room today following hours of emergency surgery to repair damage to his legs caused by that single-car crash in California yesterday. And that's according to a statement posted on Woods' Twitter account by Dr. Anish Mahajan of the Harbor UCLA Medical Center. Dr. Mahajan described the severe injuries to Tiger's right leg. They had to repair multiple open fractures by placing a rod in his tibia and screws and pins in his foot and ankle. There's no mention of his left leg in the statement. Woods was in California to film a segment for Golf TV and host the Genesis Invitational Golf Tournament. As he was in the process of recovering from another back surgery, the 15-time major winner was driving a tournament-provided automobile. As Tiger recovers, the investigation continues to find out how the accident occurred. High school basketball and bull riding next. Congratulations to Larry Norman, has been named the new head football coach and boys athletic coordinator at Brackenridge High School. Norman leaves Stevens High School, where he served as the Falcons special teams coordinator as part of the staff who guided the Stevens to their first bi-district title in a decade. This follows a 20-year career in the United States Air Force. Norman takes over for Willie Hall, who retired after 37 years at Brackenridge, 25 as the Eagles head coach. Boys basketball playoffs continue tonight. Class 5A area round. Bernie champion taking on Harlandale. Indians trying to rally in the second half. Saxon Longenberg to Michael Benavides. He drills the triple, capping a 5-0 run. But the Chargers open things up from distance. Jesse Pert drains a corner 3 to put Champion up 24, and then Pert finds Braxton Burdick for the corner 3 of his own. Chargers hit 17 threes. They won it 79-36 over the Paul Taylor Fieldhouse. Class 3 battle between Cole and Lytle. First half, all Cougars. Trey Blackmore blows by the defender for the Tomahawk Jam. Cole rolling 14 up. Pirates answer. Bryson Duty drives and flips it up and to cut the lead down to 10, but the Cougars respond. Lucas Vettas gets ahead to Elijah Sexton for the transition lay-in. Cole wins it 86-56. Now let's take you up to New Bravos. The girls' Class 6A third-round playoffs between the Judson Rockets and Clark Cougars. The Rockets' Michaela Barrett pulls it up from deep here and knocks down the 3 for a 12-point Rocket lead. The Cougars' Natalie Hoff gets into the lane, puts up the teardrop to keep the Cougars close, but Justin's Kirsten Sanderlin just cuts through the Clark defense to get the bucket. Rockets led at the time 29-17 at halftime. Rockets win it 48-45. Cody Webster and Chuck Swisher, two of the most talented bullfighters in rodeo tonight, on hand for the bull riding. And this is Jess Davidson onboard hookup, but not for long. He gets a face plant coming out of the gate, gets slammed into the gate. That's when the bullfighters have to step in to distract the bull. Very dangerous area. Riley Harris on board. He's legit. Look at the double bounce buck off. Nothing came easy tonight. Brady Portnier, I should say, was tonight's champion on board. Big Don scored the big score of 84. That was a rough night.
Yeah, it was. And especially when they get bucked off right at that, you're worried about him hitting back into the gate.
Yeah, because he gets a face plant first on the bull and then gets thrown backwards into the metal. So that's what you have to watch out for.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
Got it.
We'll be right back.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather. Streaming free on KSAT TV.
An artist with quite the following on Instagram is getting props for some of his work. Davian Chester recreated some of the iconic Disney princesses as black women. One commenter on Instagram said his daughter cried when she saw the pieces because they look like her. We have some of his work posted on our website at KSAT.com.
What a great idea.
Ariel, yeah.
That's it for the Nightbeat. GMSA starts at 4:30.
Good night.